We're back again with Leticia Wallace, Eric Sorensen, Jonathan Logeman, Marsha Williams, and Angie Normoyle, Democratic primary candidates in the Illinois 17th Congressional District race. Let's talk gun violence. The new bipartisan legislation unveiled by the Senate this week, it would close the so-called boyfriend loophole and ban people convicted of domestic violence in dating relationships from buying guns. It would create a longer background check process for gun buyers younger than 21, provide more money for mental health resources, and tougher punishment for gun traffickers. Just to name a few things, this is an 80-page bill. How satisfied are you with this proposal? Would you vote for it in Congress if you were in Congress right now, even if it doesn't contain everything you want? Angie Normoyle, you were last the first two rounds, but you're first this time.
I am delighted that there has been progress. As you mentioned, it's been over 30 years since we were able to make this type of movement in Congress, and so I am pleased that the loopholes are being addressed, and I am also very pleased about the additional background checks for younger people, ages 18 to 21, and the fact that juvenile records will be able to be referenced. I think those are all steps in the right direction. Even though it's not a perfect bill, I would absolutely vote for it in Congress because we need to be focusing on what we can work with, where we can move forward. In this case, something is much better than nothing. I was also pleased that this current bill did not infringe upon the rights of sportsmen and people who use firearms in ways of recreation that are well established here in the 17th District.
Eric Sorensen, same question. Would you vote for it right now if you were in Congress, even if it doesn't have everything you want?
I would absolutely vote for this legislation. We must be committed to solving this issue. It's killing our kids in school. I believe that there is a way that we can support the rights of responsible gun owners while also protecting the families and kids by keeping the deadly weapons out of the hands of the people that want to seek harm. And we need to talk about this. We need common sense gun reform because it's going to protect our families. And this is personal for me because I was on the news desk the day that the school shooting happened at NIU in DeKalb. And our TV station was the meeting point for families and their kids after that gunman came into Cole Hall. And so it's personal for me. And I believe that our next Congress needs to make legitimate change on this issue because it is killing too many of our kids.
All right, time there for you. Leticia Wallace, same question.
Thank you. Yes, as a gun sense designated candidate, I would support the legislation where I'm in Congress right now. We have got to do so much more. As a trained mental health professional, a survivor of domestic violence, and a person who was hiding under a desk in Graham Hall the day that the shooter opened fire in Cole Hall, like we just heard about. I have witnessed gun violence. I've seen my very close friend die as it relates to gun violence, and I have seen people be slaughtered on the college campus that I was attending school at. We have to go so much further, but I am so glad that we have broken this repetitive cycle of doing nothing after our children are killed. So yes, I would support the legislation. I look forward to going back to some of the measures we had in the late 90s where we did not see such casualties in mass shootings.
Calling time there. Marsha Williams, how satisfied are you with this proposal?
I would definitely support any legislation that brings common sense gun reform. As a mother, it's concerning to me that they're selling Kevlar lined backpacks that are marketed to as young as 5 years old. And when we come to these, not only the sense of gun, background check or red flag laws, we also need to expand this on gun safety. Because if a person wants to own a firearm, they should be able to know how to safely use that firearm and the laws that are attached. So if somebody needs to use that in self-defense and they know the laws to be able to protect themselves. Is this similar to what we have in Illinois for the conceal and carry? It should be for all cases for anybody that holds a gun, wants to own a gun. In part of Illinois where it is in Chicago, a lot of people get their guns in Indiana because there's no universal background checks.
Call time.
They do that, yeah.
Got to call time, Marsha Williams. Jonathan Logeman, you'll round out this line of questioning.
Yeah, I can remember when I was 7 years old, and we got a phone call that my aunt in Rockford was shot in the head, and this has been just a pervasive issue that has happened on our streets for decades, and we've got to do something to deal with it. And then even this year at Auburn High School, when I was teaching in January, the administration got on the loudspeaker and said we're in a hard lockdown, and myself, I had to make sure I kept a calm demeanor for my students, ensured that they would know that they would be safe. So if we think that this is not happening in our schools here in northwestern Illinois, we're dead wrong. I mean, it's even happened in Dixon here as well. So absolutely would support that measure in Congress. And then, I think in Afghanistan too, we did not carry things like extended magazines at all. If we don't carry them in Afghanistan, we don't need them here in our streets in America.
Got to call time.
Finally, we definitely
got to call time. Jonathan Logan, we're going over the time here. Eric Sorensen, Leticia Wallace, Angie Normoyle, Jonathan Logan, Marsha Williams, all made great points. Please stand by, though. We'd like to ask one more political question, but we're out of time on the program. For those of you watching at home, we have that for you in a web extra online at ourquadcities.com. That brings us to our question of the week. What do you think about the bipartisan legislation that would address gun violence by expanding background checks for gun buyers younger than 21 and more than that? Send your answer by email to fortherecord at whbf.com or respond to this post on Facebook at the local 4 News WHBF TV page or on my page.